Thank you, Charles, for your welcome and introduction. Under your leadership, the Newseum has built a reputation for an unparalleled programming on matters related to religion. You and I have done several of these sorts of convenings, and I appreciate your willingness to host this event and also the hard work of your superb staff that has put into organizing this effectively. I also want to issue a special thanks to Miriam Caldas, our Director of External Engagement, for just extraordinary work in her otherwise leisurely schedule in our growing office. Thank you so much, Miriam. I also want to express my deep gratitude to you, Madam Secretary, for your tireless leadership in the field of religion and global affairs and for your willingness to join us today. I tell people that the work of our office has many intellectual parents, but we would certainly not be here today were it not for your intellectual and policy leadership. We're honored to have you with us. Thank you. And most of all, I want to thank Secretary Kerry for his leadership and trust in choosing me to launch this effort. It's one thing to sit on an academic perch offering free commentary about how the U.S. government should approach religion and diplomacy. It's quite another to be entrusted with the building of a new Office of Religion and Global Affairs, and I will always be grateful for this opportunity. We're here today to talk about a milestone in the administration's foreign policy. That milestone is the policy guidance cable that Secretary Kerry issued this week on religion and foreign policy, which he just spoke of a moment ago. The cable is a document that explains to all State Department posts and employees around the world the need for robust engagement with religious actors in the assessment of religious dynamics, and it lets those posts know about the resources that are now available to them from our office. First, it's important for me to note that this work is not all of recent vintage. Our embassies have addressed religion in advancing foreign policy objectives for many years. And since 1998, the State Department has had a congressionally mandated Office of International Religious Freedom. It was a joy for me to watch my longtime friend David Saperstein take his oath of office recently as our new Ambassador at Large for International Religious Freedom, continuing this important mandate. What is new is a reorganization of other state offices and the provision of additional resources through our new office. Let me briefly outline those changes. First, in order to maximize collaboration, the Secretary consolidated a number of existing offices within the Office of Religion and Global Affairs. Shark Zuffer at the far end, the Special Representative to Muslim Communities, Ira Foreman, who's sitting next to him, Special Envoy to Monitor and Combat Anti-Semitism, and Arslan Suleiman, the acting special envoy to the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, are now part of our office while still maintaining their special mandates. Additional new staff is working on a wide range of issues in relation with each of the 6 regional bureaus within the State Department, as well as many of the State Department's functional bureaus. Our team then has 3 overarching roles for the department. First, the office advises the Secretary on policy matters as they relate to religion. This advice covers issues as diverse as the counter-ISIL effort and climate change, leveraging its knowledge and outside expertise to inform secretarial-level decision-making. Second, the office works with posts and bureaus to develop capacity in assessing religious dynamics and engaging religious actors. In this effort, the office coordinates with the White House and interagency process. Finally, the office serves as an entry point for leaders and organizations seeking to engage the department on matters of religion and foreign policy. Our leadership meets regularly with religious leaders, faith-based organizations, scholars, and secular groups, and others interested in matters of religion and foreign policy. Let me close by describing a scene on the campus of the University of Cape Town, South Africa, almost 60 years ago, that I think illustrates the necessity of considering the power of religion in international politics. On that day, New York Senator Robert Kennedy spoke to a packed auditorium of 1,600 people on campus, with another 18,000 listeners standing outside hoping to hear the speech in this harsh winter weather they were experiencing. Kennedy was there to register his displeasure with the apartheid state and to rally young South African opponents of apartheid in their struggle for freedom and justice. He said that there were 4 challenges facing them in their attempt to build a new South Africa. These challenges were what he called the dangers of futility, expedience, timidity, and comfort. It's what he said about the danger of expediency that I want to quote today. Kennedy said, "The second danger is that of expediency, of those who say that hopes and beliefs must bend before immediate necessities. Of course, if we would act effectively, we must deal with the world as it is. We must get things done. But if there was one thing President Kennedy stood for that touched the most profound feelings of young people around the world, it was the belief that idealism, high aspirations, and deep convictions are not incompatible with the most practical and efficient programs, that there is no basic inconsistency between ideals and realistic possibilities, no separation between the deepest desires of the heart and of mind and the rational application of human efforts to human problems. It is not realistic or hard-headed to solve problems and take action unguided by ultimate moral aims and values, although we all know some who claim that it is so. In my judgment, it is thoughtless folly, for it ignores the realities of human faith and of passion and of belief, forces ultimately more powerful than all of the calculations of our economists or of our generals." So today, as we reaffirm three central tenets of U.S. foreign policy: number one, promoting sustainable development; number two, advancing pluralism and human rights; and number three, mitigating violent conflict, we also acknowledge, as Senator Robert Kennedy did almost half a century ago, to be effective in these areas, we must take seriously the many roles that religion plays in our diplomacy. Thank you very much.